Yo, welcome back to the Red or Blue Pill channel, people. Thank you for returning subscribers and members. What we do here, if you are new, is we react to the most disturbing and creepy videos from the internet, and we go through the latest. If you like what you see, don't forget to sub up, turn on the notifications, let me know your thoughts in the comments section. With that being said, let's roll.
Video is for entertainment purposes only.
Yeah, I mean, it could just all be a massive holographic projection, couldn't it? And everything we see is just holographic.
Breaking news, but what if this blob here was nothing more than our magnetic field failing? And before you want to slam me, this was in 2020 when it was a collapse taking place here. And oh, what's this? Oh, it also goes around Beauvais Island. This is known as the South Atlantic anomaly, and yes, NASA is even following this, but check this out. Someone is wondering if it's splitting. Watch it start taking place in 2014, and watch what ends up taking place around Beauvais Island in 2020. Now, I would love to tell you what takes place in this exact location, but that's too hot for this platform. It's naughty words I'm not allowed to say. But there's an increase of people that get sick. It deals with an image like this of what is increased in that area. And again, yes, NASA is aware about it. So you tell me, do you think that that's a possibility of what the blob is? Take care. God bless.
It cracks me up that it's called The Blob. I'm pretty sure there was a horror movie called The Blob.
Can you remember when Donald Trump said this?
They've created ISIS. Hillary Clinton created ISIS with Obama. Created with Obama.
People are looking for big-named arrests. And in order for big-named arrests to take place, people need to go on trial. It's taken so long because Donald Trump's first term, he didn't have the right people in place that he could trust. Yesterday at his Congress speech, he announced that the number one suspect for an ISIS attack in Afghanistan that killed 13 American soldiers is now making his way to America to be put on trial. Today, he's now in custody. And Donald Trump sent members of his cabinet that a lot of people have had doubt on, saying bad things about. John Ratcliffe, the CIA director, he went alongside Pam Bondi, which is the Attorney General, and Kash Patel. And this is where people have to really use common sense. If you have doubt in them, would Donald Trump send them to pick up, to put into custody a number one suspect for terrorism? He's going on trial now. So the word ISIS will lead us closer to these people.
President Obama. He is the founder of ISIS. He's the founder of ISIS. He founded ISIS. And I would say the co-founder would be crooked Hillary Clinton.
Can you see how things are now happening at the highest levels? How things are all connected and justice will be served?
Yeah, it's a massive statement, and it's Donald Trump saying it, not me, by the way. So you know, it's I'm just reacting to it. But make what you want of it, of what he said, and let me know your thoughts in the comment.
About 89% of Canada's land area, 8,886,356 square kilometers, is Crown land, which may either be federal, 41%, or provincial, 48%. The remaining 11% is privately owned.
Alexa, what does Crown land mean?
Crown land refers to any piece of land that is owned by the ruling monarch, who is also referred to as the Crown. Such land is typically used for public purposes, including parks, forests, and other recreational areas. It doesn't pass through inheritance, but remains under the ownership of the Crown throughout different reigns.
Swear to God. The British monarch, Crown land, fucking America, Canada. We're all owned by we're all owned by the British. It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, the whole power structure of this world is bonkers, but that's what I think the the to and froing is people potentially, in the royal UK versus some other type of being where Trump is involved. You know what I mean? Like, I think there's something going on for sure. Oh, interesting. So Tartar, is that Tartaria? Is that what we're talking about? Is that what the place is? Yeah. I have no answers, but if I was a betting man, or if someone put a gun to my head and said, right, you've got to tell me right now what that sky is, that is probably what I would say. It is just code. Hologram, simulation, type shizzle.
Use a welder's mask and then look at the sun. Well, I don't have a welder's mask, but I've got the 2024 solar eclipse glasses, so let's give it a try. Glasses. Sun. Shouldn't it be solid? Yeah, go ahead. Tell me I'm wrong. Tell me I'm wrong.
Well, it's nice to see the orange version back. Yeah, we could just be in a snow globe, and that could be a massive giant that's living outside the snow globe, looking in to see how we're doing, like little ants. So why does that spin then? Anyone got any idea on that? That is a random thing to be spinning with a lot of weight. Looks like it's been made for a reason.
What is going on with all the earthquakes? Yes, we see them in this ring of fire, but look down here. Not little ones, now here. Volcano activity. We have all these active volcanoes in 7 different regions. This is not quite typical. Volcanoes. And getting back to earthquakes, even Virginia had an earthquake today, and France had one yesterday in an area not known for seismic activity at the very specific depth of 7.5 kilometers. What is it? Magma movement? Tectonic plates? The Earth is very much alive right now, reminding us how small we are. All this activity at the same time is intriguing. Let me know what you think it is, and I'll see you in the comments. Take care.
I'll tell you what I think. I think the world is bonkers.
Aliens exist and President Trump knows about it. That's according to Israel's former space security chief. In an interview with an Israeli newspaper, he said the aliens have been waiting until today for humanity to develop and reach a stage where we will understand in general what space and spaceships are. NBC News chief global correspondent Bill Neely explains this one.
Yeah, I'm still waiting for my phone call. I've had no contact yet.
They told you 666 was the mark of the beast. And maybe they were right, but not in the way that you think. 6 protons, 6 neurons, 6 electrons, the building blocks of carbon. Now what is carbon? Carbon is the element that forms all physical life. Your body, your blood, your bones. You are literally made of 666. Look at time. 60 seconds, 60 minutes, 24 hours. 2 plus 4 equals 6. That's another 666. We are ruled by the chop of time, enslaved to the tick-tock of the beast system. Ask yourself, is the mark of the beast not some tattoo or barcode? The trap of matter and time, the illusion of survival, the distraction of the physical. So here we are, beast trying to ascend, hooves and horns trying to grow wings. Stuck in flesh, reaching for light. So how do you go from 666 to ascension? You master matter, you bend time, you transcend the system. Identifying with the beast, which is your physical form. And remember, you were spirit first. Carbon to consciousness, from body to being, from beast to divine.
Yeah, don't quite understand that one yet, but I thought I'd put that out there for the more educated ones that watch this channel.
This is crazy. Guys, this is crazy. Does anybody know what's happening? Do you guys know? Holy crap. Holy crap, it's like a light show. It's all over the place. This is out of control. This is crazy. This is crazy. Oh my gosh. What is happening? Am I going out of my mind, or are all the stars moving? This is the coolest thing. This is the coolest thing.
That has got to be one of the craziest UFO videos I've seen ever, I think. Or today. Maybe not ever.
What if I told you that everything that we've ever been told, everything, the opposite, was always the truth? Everything.
Yeah, I'm going to still keep doing these videos just because I always have, but obviously they're coming out now and telling you that they're going to try and dim the sun anyway, so we know it's not a conspiracy anymore, peeps, but that was horrendous. Yeah, it's all a show, peeps. All a show, but it is pretty sick and sadistic show that we're watching.
It's a dome. 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 Listen, I just had the most outrageous revelation. I can't even explain it. Just please look. So Jesus is coming back, and he's coming from the heavens. The sky will crack open. Listen. So God reminded me of the dream that he gave me when I put it on my TikTok. If you haven't watched it, go watch it. But in the dream, Jesus came back and the sky cracked open. The sky cracked open, okay? So I saw this in my dream. He gave me this dream. He came through the sky. It was cracked open. It wasn't like he entered from heavens to galaxies to earth. No, it wasn't that. It was like an egg. It was like an egg. The egg cracked open. Hold on, I have some verses for you. So it says in Isaiah 24, 19 through 20, it says, this passage in Isaiah describes the earth being shaken and the sky being rolled up like a scroll, which can be interpreted as God's judgment or the coming of a new age. However, that's not what it says. What the description that they're giving, let's read the actual verse. It says that the earth will crack and shatter and split open. Does that make sense to y'all? Because that doesn't make sense, because the earth would have to be a hard structure, such as something like an egg, right? Something like an egg, right? But more of this, right? The sky cracking open. It says in Revelation 6:14, it says, the heavens receded like a scroll being rolled up and every mountain island was removed from its place. Listen to this. Know what you're thinking? Oh, that's not enough evidence. You only mentioned a dream and a couple passages in Isaiah and in Revelation. Okay, listen to this. In Noah's flood, it says that the floodgates were open. Gates. Think about it. You say, oh, well, gates is symbolism. No, gates is not symbolism. Gates. The floodgates were open. The heavens are just there. And if there's nothing that passages, if there's a no passage from Earth into the galaxy, then there would be no meaning for the gates of heaven to be open. And you can't say, well, was the furthest most heaven open? No. The heavens gates were open, meaning the gates above the dome, there are gates, and the gates were open and the flood waters came pouring down. This is when it had closed. It says that, and the floodgates of heaven had been closed, and the rain had stopped falling from the sky. And we've all heard of the sky cracking open and Jesus coming back. The sky cannot crack open unless there is a glass-like dome or a dome-like structure above us that it would make sense for it to crack open and everything to open up like a scroll. The biggest thing is I know Jesus gave me that dream and I know what I saw, the sky cracking open and him coming down. It wasn't just him coming from heaven and floating down and we saw him all the way down. No. It was cracked open. This is crazy. I know, oh, he's a flat earther. No, listen, I believe what I was taught and I was told to believe and I was institutionalized to believe. I believe the earth is a globe. That's what I was taught.
Yeah, I don't know what it is, but I mean, it could all be holographic, couldn't it, right?
I don't want any money for what I'm doing because hopefully this video won't come out until after my death. So I have nothing to gain, nothing to profit by telling you what I'm going to tell you. In 1968, my father was stationed at Cannon Air Force Base in New Mexico. We lived in Clovis, New Mexico. He was in the military police for over 20 years. And on his deathbed in 2002, we made a recording of what happened. Project Slam Dunk was the name of this. President Johnson in 1968, okay? In Cannon Air Force Base in 1968, he said by the time he got there, that there was already 2 large hangars that were connected. There was hundreds of dump trucks that came in and dumped sand and stone, and cement powder was powdered over the top of all that to make it look like a lunar landscape. They had men that fashioned it into a lunar landscape, he said. Okay, I've never known my dad to lie, so this all took me by surprise. You know, what's that all about? So anyway, he said that in front of the airplane hangars was pole framing with large canvas tents that was concealing the inside of the staging area. Inside the staging area, on flatbed trucks, was created the lunar lander that was reassembled back inside the hangars. All of the walls were painted flat black, and the ceilings as well. He was sworn to secrecy by the NSA, and they would put him in prison for breaking that oath. When Dad saw the moon landing on TV, he cried. He said he knew that what he had witnessed on TV was exactly what they recorded in that hangar. There was no reason for them to go flying around and everything. They had detailed, high-definition photos of the landing area. There was no reason for them to go flying around to a different landing area that almost exhausted their fuel, except for drama, because everything had gone so smoothly. Nothing, so it had to be something. Anyway, Dad was one of 3 guards that guarded the inside of the front entrance. There was a list of 15 people who could enter. No one else was allowed by order of President Johnson. And here is that list. And I gave it to Bart Seibel as well. He checked out a lot of these names, and he says he can verify a lot of these people and what they do. And I come across a couple myself. Anyway, President Johnson, Neil Armstrong, Edwin Aldrin, Werner von Braun, Robert Emenegger, Gene Kranz, James Webb, Joe Kerwin, Dr. Thomas Paine, Glenn Looney, Dr. Christopher Kraft, Dr. James Van Allen, General Trudeau, Lieutenant Colonel Donald Simon, and Grant Norrie. Now, the only 2 that I really have information on is Robert Emenegger. Apparently, he did a lot of video work and stuff for the Department of Defense. So the DOD did know him. Okay. And the other one was Grant Norrie, Norray, I believe. Was to the best of my dad's knowledge, was a like some FBI, CIA, NSA, something like that. Okay, President Johnson only showed up for the first day of filming. Filming lasted for 3 days, and the entire project was restored to original. In other words, the hangars were all taken apart, the sand was all removed, and so on and so forth. Dad said there was a lot of building going on at the base, so at the time, so sand and cement powder was never questioned. I can see how they could smuggle that all in within everything else that's going on. Since 2002, I have dug up I already told you about that, the evidence for the moon landing that I have found. If you go to Google and go to Cannon Air Force Base website, they admit that President Johnson was there. The lunar lander was there. The astronauts were there. I also have verified some of the people on the list were there. I also verified that there are a lot of building going on in the base, just as he had told me. And all of this was going on at the same time, on the same date. Dad told me all these things, father to son. He also told me not to ever tell anyone what he had said, but he said on his deathbed that he had to tell somebody before he died because it was just too important not to tell. That's about all I can think of. My dad, he raised me by the book. I know he didn't lie to me.
Yeah, when I first started this channel, I didn't really know a lot about the moon and the landing and things, didn't really pay much attention, but I've seen a lot since, and there's a lot of information out there that would have me a guess that there is something not quite right.
Does somebody want to explain to me just what in the hell this is in this video that this person finds allegedly on Google Maps? I'm not somebody who is on Google Maps frequently. I have used Google Maps before, but watch this video, leave a comment, let the rest of us know what you guys think about this. And is this real? Do you use Google Maps? Let us know if this is real. What do you think?
If that's real, then that is not from my reality or yours, I don't think. If anybody tells me what type of fish that is, then I'm definitely in the wrong reality. But AI is pretty good. So, yeah, I'm not sure on that one. But, yeah, let me know what you think. And that is the end of the show, peeps. So, thank you for watching. Appreciate your support. And I'll see you tomorrow.